session 2. And when last we left our party of level 1 explorers in the midst of a journey to find the Cave of Bright Crystal, which is rumored to be somewhere in the mountains, far to the west of civilization. In the middle of the night, at a campsite overlooking the upper Green River, Evaristo, a cleric of Caracol, who was on watch, heard some scuttling sounds from Saphira's sleeping area, and upon investigation, saw the jeweled staff that had been carefully dug out from the ground the day before, being kind of pulled away into the darkness by, well, in the light, in the very dim light from the fire. It's kind of a low fire that you have going. It's mainly their eyes that you see, you know, like glowing in the dark the way like cat's eyes do when they catch a light from, you know, a passing car or something like that, the way cat's eyes kind of flare up. So these reddish orange eyes kind of in the darkness catching the firelight, and all you can see are these little black kind of paws. Well, they're the monkey-like part of these creatures is that they have very monkey-like hands. So they have very tiny hands with opposable thumbs, and they've, like, 3 of them have grabbed onto this staff, and they're dragging it away from Saphira's side. So Evaristo, what do you do?
Saphira, wake up!
Okay, Saphira wakes up, and I think everybody else kind of stirs at this point.
Everyone, thieves!
And they and at that sound, they make a break for it. They, like, instead of quietly dragging, they like pick up, and they're starting to, and they're basically going to be running into darkness. So Saphira is lying on the ground, and you're standing. What happens next?
Go get them! They're taking your staff.
All right. Well, I'm barely awake. So I scramble in the direction that I left the staff, attempting to grasp at it, but I'm like on the ground.
Teo, Claudio, Amu.
You kind of like you're sort of scrambling in a half crawl.
Yeah.
This strange voice calling to you, waking you up from sleep. You scrabble off in the direction of whatever it is that's happening. And what is your given what has just been expressed to you, what are you trying to accomplish? What do you think is happening?
I don't know. I'm basically just reaching in the direction that I left the staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say, so to react sort of quickly enough, right out of being in REM sleep, snapping into action, scrambling around blindly in the direction of the thing that is
I'm not even to the point of like getting off of my sleeping. I'm like barely, you know, if it happens that they're still right next to me, then yeah, like I'll grab it, but like I'm not like on my knees running into the darkness.
I'm running after them also.
Okay.
I've yelled at everyone.
Okay, so Evaristo, you're the only person that even has a chance of catching these things at the moment. So how are you going to do that? Like, are you going to run and dive and try to grab the staff? Are you going to run? Is there some kind of light source you're going to somehow whip out, or like, what's your plan?
I'm going to try and jump and grab the staff.
So like a kind of lunge.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a saving throw with dexterity.
All right. I rolled a 7.
Okay. Okay, so you grabbed onto the end of it, and
so tired of losing staffs.
Yeah, right. This would be staff number 2. So you grab onto the end of it, you manage to grab it, and you pull against them, and there's 3 of them, and there's a little bit of resistance, but then you kind of like stagger backward, and you At this point, everybody else is kind of groggily waking up from their sleep. You stagger backward and fall on your back, and you sort of, the staff kind of pivots up into the air, and you look up, and all three of them are like clinging to it, like it's some kind of weird, bizarre Christmas tree, or it's a stick festooned with small weasel primates, and they're all kind of looking right down at you, and let's see what these guys got going on. And Sophia, you're awake enough to, and you're right there. So now you're kind of conscious enough to do something if you want to. And they're all three just kind of like, they're all clinging to the staff and just kind of like looking down at you with wide eyes.
So Evaristo is holding it up, is that right?
He's fallen on his back. And
Okay,
the staff is vertical, and they're kind of clinging to the top of it. And they, if memory serves, these guys, have like a nasty yellow fangy teeth.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, I don't have my club or anything, so I'm not gonna like reach towards them. I'm just gonna sort of like pause and see what they do.
Can I just kind of like go like, yeah,
and like fling them away?
try and fling them away?
Sure.
Like
yeah.
a kind of shake it a little too.
Just don't fling them in my direction.
To get them off.
Yeah.
What do you think, what ability do you think would be most fitting for that?
I think that would be a strength, don't you think? Are they pretty heavy?
Like you want to go hard and fast and then stop so they kind of fly off. Yeah, okay. Go
Yeah. I rolled a 4.
Okay. Good stuff. So mark strength.
Yeah.
On your sheet there.
Cool.
So everybody else is kind of now sort of standing up and looking in your direction. In the light of the fire, you guys see this weird. It's a little bit of a blur at the moment as Evaristo is reacting to this. You're lying on the ground and you make a fling motion, and they all actually fall off, but they don't go far. They land right at your feet, and then they scramble up your body. So they're going like right for your head. So
all right, I'm gonna try to kick them off.
Okay. And you're not their target, so you're just trying to kick off as many as you can.
Yeah.
You have to sleep.
I think I would immediately drop to the ground and start rolling around.
Okay. So then let's do this as I think Sophia is helping you to try to get rid of it. So you're going to make the roll, but because Sophia is helping you, you get +1. You guys don't have any bonds, right?
I only have a bond with Teo.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a.
So normally the way bonds come into play is when you are helping somebody. This is a point where you can mark a bond to get an extra point on that. An extra +1. So this is just +1 to rolling around on the ground and kind of hoping for the best.
I'm like kind of in a panic.
Yeah, you're panicking. Okay. It's gonna be. I think this is just like a.
Dexterity.
It's either dexterity or luck. I think.
Luck.
Like whether these guys would actually. I mean, is it like the faster and more? And you just described yourself as being in a panic. So yeah, it's luck. You're making a luck roll.
Yeah, if they're like rats crawling on me, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will point out before you roll the dice that you could possibly utter a prayer to Caracol.
Oh, to help me?
Yeah. That just is a possible indication. You don't have to do that, but it is. I just want to make sure people are aware of their.
No, I've been keeping that in mind. I don't know if I'm like. Yeah, I think I'm like screaming like Caracol, save me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Save me from these beasts.
Didn't get my cleric sheet out.
I can roll wisdom or charisma.
Okay.
Taking +1 if I bear my holy symbol. I don't know if that counts.
Well, wait, are you praying or are you invoking right now?
I'm not invoking.
I think invoke would be what you would have to, because yeah.
Oh, it would be invoke? Okay.
Ask for his help, yeah.
So I have a -1 to invoke because of my last attempt.
That's correct. You can spend favor to increase that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I don't think you get the holy symbol bonus because you're actually not like wielding it. It's like you're rolling around on the ground.
Yeah. Okay. So what is it? You have to assign my hubris from 0 to 6?
Yeah, and you're just sort of begging for help. How does Caracol feel about that? I don't think that's, I don't think that's hubristic for you to beg for the help of your god in the wild there. Yeah, so 0.
0. Okay.
So you're at -1, and then if you want to spend any
okay, I will spend a favor
to bring it back to 0.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, so this is, and you're invoking right now for help. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry. So I got a 4.
And what does that say on under invoke, under a 6 or less on invoke?
6 minus mark XP, and you make a move.
Yeah, so even with the +1
from is that a move from the list here?
No. That's I have my own little special list of moves.
Okay.
So you can't burn luck to get this to a 7, right?
That's a 4 though.
So this was right. So this was to invoke to help you get them off.
Yeah.
And that totally failed, and I get to make a move, but you still get to roll to get them off.
Okay. You're gonna say that's luck?
It's gonna be a luck roll, but before that happens, I think so what I'm going to, there's a judge move called reveal an unwelcome truth. And at this point, I think the next closest person is going to be Claudio. So Claudio is not too far away from Saphira, and Claudio, in the light of the fire, you see that behind Saphira, there's 2 more of these things that were just like creeping around the campsite, and now they're sort of poised behind Saphira. Now, Riley, you can roll to get them off of you. It's a straight up luck roll. Actually, this is the one that she's giving you the +1 for too.
I rolled 2 6s, so it's 12.
Okay. And Saphira, how are you helping him? What was your?
I was trying to kick them off.
Okay. So you're like rolling around, it's just frantically praying for Caracol's help to no avail. Saphira manages to kick one of them off, and the other ones kind of get flung away. One of them is like hanging on to the thing you have around your neck, the big necklace of what is it, like snail shell, like wooden snail shell? What it is. Mm-hmm. So 2 of them get flung off, and you like roll completely over, and then one of them like was gonna get flung off but held onto your necklace and lands back on your chest, like, and it's like right in your face, going. Okay, Claudio. So you see that there's 2 more sort of right behind you.
Oh well, if I'm close enough, I've got to get in and help some. I could just yell and take my spear and what is the spear move? Would it be like try to swipe?
Yeah, you could try to knock them aside. You could totally try to knock them aside. You can. It's anything you can imagine doing with this. Where you can try to stab one of them. I guess that's the thing, is there's 2 of them, so you wouldn't necessarily be able to stab both of them. But
right, I would go for the one that's on the neck.
Okay, so go past.
You might want to use the blunt side of your spear for that.
All right.
So you step past the 2 that are near Saphira and try to stab the one that's on. Okay.
Right.
All right. And it's not really paying attention to you. It's fighting Evaristo. So, and to do this, Are you trying to do this sort of forcefully to knock it away, or are you trying to stab it dead?
Oh, just to knock it away.
Okay. So then that's going to be a saving throw with, I think dexterity, because like moving target, kind of hard to manage.
Sure, yeah. And I gotta move quickly. So, so 2d6 and then plus my dex.
Yeah. And if you wanted to, you could spend metal to increase this roll, because it's your favorite weapon that you're using, and any move you make with your favorite weapon.
Oh, okay. Wait.
And I think you spend that before you roll the dice.
All right, and they only have one metal.
I think you actually start with 2.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's your level +1, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll spend a metal. So +1 of my metal. Cool. I got 11 plus 1, so that's 12.
Okay, excellent. And what kind of damage does the spear do?
Oh, it does. What is it?
D8.
1d8.
1d8.
So are you using the sharp end?
She's using the blunt edge.
The blunt to force it away.
So roll 1d8, divide by 2.
Okay. Oh man, 1/2.
You need to round up on that. Okay, so you
Alright,
you
one.
hit with enough force to knock it away. It goes, and it like it gets knocked off of. I think every so the last thing you see is its little tiny hand holding. It's just this little frozen moment where its little hand is holding your necklace, kind of at full extension away from your head, and then it lets go and kind of disappears into the darkness. And then the 2 that are behind Saphira also break and run for it. Does anybody do anything else? It appears to be that they're in retreat.
What about the ones that were behind Claudio?
Those are the ones that are break. The other ones are just in the darkness somewhere. You have no idea where they are. But the 2 that showed up when Claudio stepped forward and did that, that caused them to break and run. Apparently, these things are not up for like head-to-head fights.
I'm not going to chase after them.
I'm going to yell breakfast and chase after one.
And what are you chasing after him with?
My warhammer.
And I assume that you're
bop it.
I assume that you're buck naked.
Sure.
Do you sleep in your raggedy chainmail shirt?
My I guess not. Yeah.
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 So the little naked tattooed halfling sprints into the darkness shouting breakfast. Okay, great. And what's your strategy in pursuing this quarry?
Just to like run up on it and try and knock it out with my hammer.
Okay. So the straggler, the last one, I think the only one you have a shot at is the last one, the closest one before they all disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So to do that fast enough and whack it, dexterity.
Okay. Oh, 11.
Sweet. Yeah, so I'll let you deal your damage to this creature.
Okay.
I'm knocking it out. There may be some overkill here in your attempt to knock it out, but we'll see how much
That's
you do.
fine. A 5.
Okay. You crushed its skull. So you take breakfast, several leaping bounds into the darkness, and you guys hear a and then there's a moment of quiet, and then I assume Tio returns to the firelight. Is that a fair thing to say? Holding up this
with yeah.
Is this a local delicacy?
Maybe not, not a delicacy, but I think I'll sit down and start
Taking it
preparing. Yeah, I don't know
I
if it'd be
can't hear
too
JP
gruesome,
now.
but-
Oh no, you can't hear.
No.
It just happened in the middle of.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hmm.
I guess when it happens, try disconnecting and reconnecting again.
Yeah, I just disconnected and came back, but
Oh
I still can't hear you. It's weird.
no. What should we do here? JP, do you want to try doing it?
Disconnecting?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Is anybody else doing anything while Tio is skinning and
I guess I'll stand up. I rescued your staff, Saphira. Here you go. No problem.
Thank you. You are so reliable.
I try, I'm trying my best.
May Caracol bless you.
JP, you want to try talking?
Yeah. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear him,
No.
It's Rat.
unfortunately.
I brought breakfast.
He brought breakfast. So he killed one of these creatures and brought back its body to the campsite.
All right.
Yeah. And now he is skinning it. He's sort of butchering it on site, or maybe slightly off site, so it doesn't get in anybody's bedrolls.
How did he kill it?
He chased after it naked with his warhammer and crushed it.
All right. Nice.
JP, your Tio kind of claims to know things that he might not necessarily know, right?
Yes.
Will you roll intelligence to know something about this creature?
That's a 3.
You get to mark intelligence.
Okay.
All right. I think you can get. How are you going to prepare this thing? You're going to you want to hang it up to dry. In which case you'd carry it with you, and over several days it would dry. Or do you have any ideas about how you'd want to prepare the meat?
They're furry, right?
Yeah. They have like a kind of beautiful silky black fur.
Okay. I think I was planning on just throwing it in the fire. And
just like roasting it.
Yeah.
On a spit and. Yeah.
If
okay.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think you can.
But I think I would take at the same time it would kind of be like using the using the parts and stuff. So it wouldn't be like totally wasteful about it.
So like keeping the fur or
Yeah.
So keeping the pelt.
Yes.
Okay, great. So you skin it carefully and then
how well I do that, I don't know, but
yeah, I think that you've probably had enough experience in the wild where you can skin an animal. I'm not going to make you roll for that. There would be circumstances where if there was something particularly difficult about it, but this is relatively easy. It's a pretty straightforward animal for you to do that with. So you skin it. Okay, so that's all happening. You're preparing that, turning it into food. And then eventually everybody else can sort of pass the rest of the night either asleep or not asleep, awake and thinking about things. If anybody wants to add anything to that scene, feel free to do so.
JP, can you try talking again?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah, great.
How about
I can hear you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks. I was thinking that if those creatures are so concerned with shiny objects and grabbing for our stuff, that if we could go back to their burrow, there's probably a lot more of that wherever they live. Any ideas?
They must just be trying to defend themselves. I'm sure that they're just, maybe they have some young nearby or something like that. I don't think it would be nice to just go out and murder them, you know.
What if we just chased them off and why would they be stealing a jeweled staff and trying to grab after your necklace? They must love that kind of stuff.
It might just be instinctual, sort of. I don't know. Maybe it looked like food to them.
I'm thinking that their nest is probably a whole pile full of jewels.
Did it turn out that we knew nothing about these animals?
Well, Tio claims
Tio
that they
doesn't.
can be turned into food, and has proceeded to do that. And I think of all of you. Well, I mean, Claudio, you might know something. If you wanted to make that roll, you're a local. There's a chance that you might have like gone hunting and stuff, right?
Well, I do. Yeah, I do think maybe they do have a habit of taking shiny.
You think they do?
Trinkets, but I can't remember if it's like a true like need for it, or maybe they're just attracted to the glittery stuff. But I'm trying to remember if I know what kind of like homes, like what's their nesting ground situation.
Okay, great. Roll to know something. That's
Right.
Intelligence.
Okay. Ooh, that is a 9 plus 1, so 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get a +1 intelligence bonus?
I do.
Oh yeah, I know that, you guys. Claudio has the best modifiers across the board, by the way. Claudio is the star MVP here. So you know these things are called in Pessoan, these things are called bastaraps, which is sort of slang for fast bastard. That's the name of these creatures, because they are quite quick and elusive. And I will answer any questions you have about them within reason, within the fact of your background and the fact that maybe you hunted them and you've traveled a little bit outside of your hometown. So that first question you asked was what kind of habitat, where do they live? And they like to live in little nooks and crannies, like little warrens. Sometimes they're in rock falls. They'll find little holes and nooks and crannies to kind of slip in and out of. Sometimes they inhabit like old dead trees. They'll like climb in and out of knot holes and nest inside of old dead trees. So any kind of place where they can find relatively confined spaces where they can feel safe. That's the kind of place that they like. And do you have any other questions?
And would possibly hide things in those spaces.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
I'd also like to know what if they live in like groups of like how many would that group's number be, or if they're more like small, like maybe there's like one family versus that kind of thing.
They tend to rove around in packs, and also to nest in packs. Yeah, as well. Maybe like between like 4 to 8 adults in a pack. And this time of year, they are they've had their probably around this time of year is when they start to have babies.
Mm.
Are they
Mhm.
tiny animals or are they more like tiny people?
Meaning, do they have a society or?
Yeah, yeah, or intelligence of some type.
Mm.
Are they sentient? Is that the word? I don't know much about these things, but I don't really want to eat one if it's like a little person.
Claudio, you know that you've not heard or encountered any sign of writing or art making or any other indicators that you might think would signify like an intelligent being, let's say. Of course, they have their own kind of.
Unlike a snail.
They're certainly clever, and they are organized. Like the packs behave. They have like pack behavior. But in your experience, they don't have. They're more like animals than people, I guess, if we were going to make that distinction.
Does that make you feel better, Everest?
No, but that's fine. I have my own food. I'll be all right.
Was that all our questions?
You can always ask more later because you apparently are the local expert on these creatures. You definitely know more than Tio, and I don't know if you want to tell him, but you know that meat that he cooked is actually will likely make him very sick. However, the pelt goes for the pelt, given its size, can actually fetch a decent price on the market.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta tell him that that information as he takes his. I don't know how many bites has he had.
Yeah, he's just roasting it. I think maybe for later. I don't know if he's going to eat it. Oh, I guess it is breakfast. The sky is just starting to kind of turn pale as night is coming to an end, and the bastarap is well and roasted, and it has a kind of like burnt. It smells kind of like burnt. It's kind of like a skunky smell, but not as intense as a skunk. But it's like that skunk smell with like something kind of charred added to it. And do you want to pull him aside and tell him, or kind of tell him in front of everybody? He seems pretty confident this is going to be a.
I'm happy to tell him in front of everyone if he's just cooking.
So go ahead and tell him. What do you say?
Hey, we used to hunt in this area, but we'd never eat the meat. We just skin it and take the pelts for selling. Dude.
Why wouldn't you eat? Look at how delicious it looks. Why wouldn't you eat?
Well, I guess I don't know the fortitude of a halfling, but for us humans, it really does quite a number on our whole digestive system. Like I could describe it, but your body is not going to be happy with it.
So Tio, it's cooked. It's like perfectly cooked now, and you take it out of the fire. Are you gonna have breakfast, or are you gonna? What are you gonna do?
No, I believe you. I'll maybe sniff it, and then reluctantly dig a little hole with my hands and bury it.
Are you comfortable? You do this in front of everybody, or do you kind of?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so you're not like there's no shame. You're just like okay.
No.
Okay, great.
I thought I was doing something nice for everyone, but.
Oh, sadness. Okay, so nobody got any restful sleep. because you were all woken up in the middle of the night. So if you were trying to heal, has anybody lost any ability points? Is everybody still all fine as far as ability points go? Other than luck, I mean, because you might have burned luck. Yeah, Riley.
Yeah, if I burned luck to raise my hit points, is that not the same?
That will. You can only gain luck back when you level up. So, but when you spend a night of restful sleep, you can get hit points and/or ability points back by resting. So that would happen. That would have happened now, except nobody got any restful sleep because you were all woken up by these creatures. What were you going to say?
Sorry. Do I have time to take a moment and catch my breath and focus on my energy?
Oh, totally. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for noticing that. So if you spend metal to do your special moves, all you have to do is just, you don't have to use that exact phrasing, but if you say like I take a moment to like catch my breath or whatever, and then you get your metal back. Okay. So Riley, you're still at -1 to invoke because of that previous thing, but there were no further penalties incurred by this last fail that you incurred. Can't hear you.
Sorry. I would like to pray. Can I take a moment to pray to Caracol to try and check in and see what happened back there?
Yeah, so the sun's now kind of peeking over the eastern treetops or hilltops far to the east. And what does morning prayer look like for your faith, for your sect within the faith?
I go out into a little bit off away from the camp and try to find some like a muddy sort of wet anything that's sort of moist in the earth. And I get down on my knees and my hands and then I kind of dig in with my hands and like put it on my face, right?
And are you dressed in your clothes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're climbing. There's like a rocky, some kind of boulder-like rocks that you can scramble down to actually the bank of the river, which is right below you, and that's a nice muddy place. So you go down there and you get down on your hands and knees and you sort of scoop the mud up. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and then I mumble some words in like I don't know, I haven't figured that out yet. Like a different language, right? Like our holy language.
Okay, so the Church of Caracol has its own or makes use of some ancient language or something.
Yeah.
That. Okay.
Is that all right with everybody else? But the basic is like what have I done to not get your blessing last night? Have I hurt you? Have I done something wrong?
And so is this okay? And what was the penalty that you suffered? Could you read the that specific penalty that you got that's giving you the -1?
-1 invoke till I satisfy my tenant.
Okay, so you're still looking to do that, but right now you're just. And then will you read pray to us so we can understand?
Yeah. When you take the necessary time to commune with your deity, say what that looks like, and roll wisdom or charisma, taking 1 if you bear your holy symbol, and 1 if you occupy a place sacred to your faith.
Ooh, that's why the muddy.
Yeah, I guess the holy symbol is part of it.
Definitely the holy symbol. Yep.
I don't know if any muddy spot counts really, but
I'd like to hear from the other members of the faith here, Tio and Saphira. What do you guys think about? So wetlands are what Caracol's domain. What do you feel about that kind of that transitional landscape between the river and the shore, between the river and the kind of higher ground? Would that qualify?
I like the effort.
It wasn't totally my intent. I think it was just like,
yeah.
I'm cool if that doesn't.
Oh, Saphira, now I can't hear you. What the heck? But you can hear us. No.
I tried quitting Safari and starting with Chrome again, and that seemed to help.
Oh, okay. It seems like, I think, okay. Oh no, the mic jack is effed. Okay. I think we'll say that the mid doesn't count as sacred ground. Oh man, that is sad. So go ahead and make your parade. Is it a roll, right?
Yeah, charisma.
And you're taking +1 because you do have your holy symbol there, and your charisma bonus is
+1.
Okay.
So that's a 7.
And what does it say?
I gain 1 favor.
All right.
That's what I was trying to get anyway.
Right. So you look up. You feel, kind of refreshed, and you have a renewed kind of intent. Maybe it's the light of the dawn that's making you feel that way, and just feeling that, that cold mud of, you're in the wild now, right? You're from the city, and this is like a pretty big different place. When you look up and down that river, there's like no sign of human habitation. To the right, you see that the landscape rises into kind of like rocky highlands, and various small streams and stuff kind of trickle down towards the Green River. To the left, the river gets broader, and before it disappears around a bend, there's like various deadfalls and plants kind of overgrowing into the water. There's a kind of thick, not thick, but like in all the kind of dells and hollows of the landscape, there's a mist that's kind of risen up here in the morning as the light of the sun's coming into play. Those of you who are higher up in the campsite, as Evaristo climbs back up from the riverside, do you wash your face off, or is the mud still on your face?
It's not like a ton. It's just like a couple streaks.
Okay, got it.
And it's I don't wash it off.
You will wash it off?
I maybe like wipe it, but it's
Okay.
like I'm not worried about it being clean or anything.
Okay. And then everybody's kind of packing up their stuff, and you look out now across the. Let's see if I can pull that up. So you're looking to the southwest across the river, and into the Broken Fells, which from your perspective rise up from the edge of the river into what looks like the immediate landscape is as if somebody took a giant like sheet of slate and just smashed it on the ground. So they're just like broken. Some of it's like dried, broken, muddy land, and then flat stones kind of scattered willy-nilly, and then that landscape rises into the far distance and starts in where it turns into kind of sheer or very, very steep rock faces that rise up onto sort of plateaus. So a series of different kind of freestanding plateaus extending into the different distance. And it's too misty right now to even see the mountains. So you're kind of looking out across this landscape, which is largely kind of grays and blacks. The river, the mud along the river here is kind of black. It's not brown. It's quite very, very rich, muddy earth. So what's the plan?
We've got to find a way to get across that river. Let's look for a ford. And on to the Cave of Crystal.
Everybody down with following Amu's lead on this?
Can you explain what you mean by ford?
The place where you can walk across the river without getting washed downstream. The path crosses the river.
That sounds like a splendid idea.
So I pick up my stuff and just start walking down the riverbank. Come on.
Okay. I'm going to assume everybody just follows unless anybody chooses another course. Okay. Within half an hour, Amu, you found a place where the water's shallow enough and there's enough there's enough kind of rocks that have fallen in where you can make it across. The water's probably, you know, between jumping on rocks and stuff, it's like ankle deep. So getting across the other side of the river is not hard at all. And then you all find yourself on the edge of the Broken Fells, kind of looking up towards a gradually rising, you know, the landscape kind of rises before it sort of transitions into the plateaus up there. So
another day or two to the Cave of Bright Crystal.
According to the stories you've heard, let's see if I can. Yeah. It looks, you know, the traveling is going to be, there's no paths or trails or anything here. This so far you followed the river upstream, so you had a kind of course that you could keep track of. So now you're heading off into like open territory that potentially could get kind of confusing. According to maps that you've seen and stories you've heard, it should be roughly to the west southwest of your current location. Nobody has any kind of compass or anything like that, so it's all reckoning according to the position of the sun and moon and stars and landmarks and things like that. And the people most suited to that are Claudio, Tio, and Amu, because you guys have some experience kind of orientating yourselves in the wilderness. The old marching order, the default marching order we established was Evaristo and Saphira in the front. Is that right? No, because Tio was scouting, right?
I think I was right in the middle.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I got that order wrong there. So Tio and Claudio in front, Evaristo and Saphira in the middle, and then Amu bringing up the rear. Do you guys want to change that at all? Amu be in the lead?
I realize that I'm pretty impatient, and I don't know what I would really be doing in the rear, being an impatient dwarf and eagerly wanting to get on to this cave. So I think I hustle up to the front.
Okay. So that leaves Evaristo and Saphira in the back. Is that okay with everybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll manage.
Okay. And you're heading off into the Broken Fells. So you are setting out. So you could head sort of directly in the direction you're supposed to go, or I think that's, at this point, that's probably the best course of action. One other way would be to go sort of head due west towards the mountains, and hope that that might be an easy, once you got to the base of the mountains, to cut south, and you think that might be easier. That's possible, but not guaranteed. Or just, so the two options would be that, to go due west and then south, or to go, you know, as the crow flies, straight through the rocky land.
Is the rocky land? You said something about mud. Is it dry and walkable? And
where you are now, you can kind of pick your way through it. But once you get in there, you could, who knows what the landscape will look like. I think the differences would be if you cut, it might add to your time if you go west first, but then you'd have the mountains that you could use as a rough guide for how to navigate. Whereas cutting straight into the fells might be more confusing if you get disoriented or lost.
Well, there is the song of the Cave of the Bright Crystal that tells the way from the Green River, how to navigate your way to and find the cave. Whether it has any truth to it, I don't know. And
does that song tell you to head towards the mountains or straight through?
Straight through, and you find the landmark of the three standing brothers, and you pass between them.
Okay, the three brothers. So that's the kind of landmark that you're searching for.
Yeah.
Okay. So since you're just charging off there in front, why don't you, you're going to roll 2d6. This is the set out move, and you're going to subtract the safety level of the region, and you are now in a perilous region. So you're going to subtract 1 from 2d6.
Okay. I got 8. So 9 minus 1.
Okay. And will you roll? So I'll just tell you right now that an 8 means that you you could spend a luck to get that up to a 9, which is, a 10 is a complete success. A 9 is a mishap, and an 8 is a creature. So if you wanted to, you could turn this into a mishap with a point of luck, and anybody could do this actually, because it's not like Jan's character made that roll. It was just like a general roll, but anybody could do this if they wanted to.
A mishap or a creature, and a mishap is kind of a sort of a minor ankle twister, some kind of a.
Right, it's a minor inconvenience. A creature might not necessarily be dangerous, but you never know. And if there's no strong feeling,
Yeah,
let's go with creature. So roll 1d6.
Me?
Yeah.
3.
Huh. Okay. So about so you hike across this landscape. Sometimes these kind of cracks in this dry, muddy earth get so deep that you could easily, slip in there and get stuck. So you're kind of like hopping from almost like mudberg to mudberg, right, across these crevices. And then whenever there's solid rocky ground, you're kind of scrambling up on that. And Amu's in the lead and kind of scanning the way ahead. And at a certain point, Tio, you see footprints in the mud. And they are bare footprints, like bare humanoid footprints.
Bare as in shoeless?
That's right. So you're like hiking along, and then you look down. You're sort of on the edge of the group, right? Like Amu's a little bit ahead, and you're kind of like, examining the landscape as you go, and for wildlife and whatever else. And in the mud there, you see like a bare footprint.
My size or human size or
your size.
My size. Okay, I think I would just point it out. Hey, Amu, slow down a minute. Take a look at this.
Come on, we've got a long day ahead of us. What's going on? We got to keep going. Are you tired?
No, there's footprints.
Oh, why did you say something?
Maybe they lead to the cave.
I'm gonna go examine them.
Yeah, so when you guys check them out a little more, you're able to. It's this muddy ground, so it's relatively easy to follow them, and it sort of arcs off to the right away from where you're at, and you go after them, and you see that they meet up with several other sets of footprints. Let's see here. Yeah, so 2 sets of footprints that appear to be human size, and they have like boot prints, and then 3 sets of bear, what Tio is pretty sure are halfling prints, and they're all headed roughly in the same direction as you, like uphill.
So do we see anything in the distance?
Roll to perceive. That's wisdom.
7.
Yeah, so you can ask me one question. So is the question, do you see anything in the distance?
Is there is there any like landmark or anything that it looks like they're headed towards?
Oh, great. There is, yeah, so in your estimation, looking at the prints and kind of scanning ahead and trying to look at the landscape and the way it lays, and there's, a heap of rocks here and like a bluff over here, and you see that sort of to the north of your position, towards which the prints appear to kind of angle off towards, there's a kind of crack in one of the faces of one of the plateaus, it's as if the plateau itself kind of broke apart, and then a bunch of rocks and various debris kind of over the years kind of drifted down through that. So it looks to be like this kind of not a ravine. It doesn't seem to be a water source coming out of it, but just like a natural crevice in the rock, and maybe the prints appeared to head in that direction.
Okay, I'll point that out.
So
like this seems to be the way.
Does it look like the smaller footprints get like they're walking along, and then the booted prints sort of meet up with them?
Great question. It appears that the first set you encountered meets up with 2 other halfling sets and 2 human sets, and they're all moving in the same direction. So your deduction is that this individual was off away from a group, and then it met up with the group and then carried on. There's no sign of fight or anything like that.
I was thinking about Lucia Libretto, the missing farmer. I wonder if any of these prints could be hers.
Claudio, you can correct Amo if you want. Lucia's last name is Barreto.
I don't think I've heard of this person.
The apothecary mentioned her as somebody she was a farmer who lives near Chidario, your hometown. And the apothecary mentioned that she had gone off on some fool expedition.
Oh, well, I guess can we like guess the height of this person by the footprint size, or?
Tio is pretty sure they're halflings. There's 3 halflings.
Oh, so I don't remember halflings living in the area, but I mean, I don't want to rule it out.
Doesn't it look like another adventuring party, perhaps? In search of the bright crystal?
I mean, it's worth following just to see what happened to this group.
Weren't there some kind of halflings that lived in this area? Is it Teo? Are there many halflings that live around here?
We're everywhere.
I seem to remember some stories about this region.
I can tell you there's no halflings that anybody knows of living in the Broken Fells. The last people to actually inhabit this area were the Nurga, were the dwarfs, I think your ancestors, right?
Yeah.
Halflings they're often kind of, they do have their own communities, but in this part of Pessoa, they're generally farmers and brewers and cooks. in the city in Peniscalto, there's actually a halfling kind of neighborhood that they've kind of carved out for themselves. And they're not as populous as humans, but they're pretty well integrated into human society. So you guys want to follow these prints? Is that the consensus?
Our friend Armando asked us to look for this Lucio farmer. Wouldn't it, if there's a chance that this is the same person, it would be a good idea to try and help.
Yeah, let's follow.
The prints do lead in the direction that we were going, right?
The same general direction.
General, yeah.
They kind of head off further north than the way you were headed. Yeah.
Perfect.
If they're searching for the cave and they run into some sort of mishap, then maybe we can learn from their mistakes. And I get my spear ready as I walk forward.
Okay. So you follow these tracks, and indeed they do lead right to this crack in the side of the plateau. It's quite dark in there, but you can see that you'll be climbing over rocks and kind of scree upward towards. It's open at the top, so you can see the light of the sky up above, and it's a pretty long, high climb. So it's not going to be an easy climb, but it's not like it'll just be probably tiring, a little physically challenging for anybody that's a city slicker.
I'm up for it. Let's try it out.
Okay.
Did there seem to be any tracks leading back and away from it, or are they all heading into that crack?
They all head into the crack. Yep.
I'm looking for ambushes.
Why don't you roll to perceive? That is wisdom.
-1. Too impatient. Oh, but I got an 11, so
nice.
10.
Sweet. So you can ask 2 questions about this this area, this situation.
Just to clarify, we're walking into a crack, but it goes up, and the sky is always exposed where we can see it.
Yes, yeah. That's right.
So I guess the first question I would say is, if there was a place to ambush somebody, where would it be?
And the answer to that is at the top of the crevice, the place where you can see the sky. If somebody was up there, it's a very narrow kind of defile that you'd be climbing up. You're estimating that it's at least, several hundred yards, 300 yards, maybe more, because distance is hard to gauge in this darkness. With that little sliver, that kind of crack of light at the top. But anybody up there could just push rocks in, could easily make it really hard for climbers to ascend.
Yeah. And is there any other evidence of somebody kind of preparing for a trap or defense of some kind? Is there any peepholes or trap, objects that are ready to fall or anything like that?
Great question. So it's totally dark in the crack, but you're a dwarf. I guess my question for you is, can dwarves see in the dark?
I think they can see better than humans, but I don't think they can see in pitch dark.
Okay.
And probably can't see when you're on the border between light and dark. They probably have to adjust their eyes.
Okay, great. So I think once you get in there and you're in the crack, and it was cold already outside, but it's quite chilly inside. And once your eyes adjust, you feel like you get a pretty good, you can actually see things pretty clearly in there. I think as you made your way up, given that question that you just asked, I would tell you if you'll see anything that looks like
Okay.
that. So with Almu in the lead,
Yeah.
everybody's game for climbing this thing.
And I just say to everybody, just be ready when we get to the top. If this is a trap, that's where they'll come after us.
Okay. So you start to make your. Do you ask everybody to be like quiet, or are you just kind of make noise?
Yeah.
To be quiet.
Yeah, everybody, let's not be unnecessarily loud. We don't really know who these people are, and I'd rather if they didn't see us coming.
Okay. So you proceed to climb up this crevasse. There's different points where the walls kind of get closer together and then further apart again. The humans have a little harder time than the dwarf and the halfling in some of these situations. They're much smaller and able to get through some of those crevices, but there's times when Saphira and Evaristo and Claudio have to kind of like duck down and squeeze through. And the whole ground underfoot is relatively stable. A whole bunch of rocks and dirt and stuff has accumulated in there over the years. So the real challenge here for the city slickers is just the sheer physical. You guys are pilgrims, so you've walked a long way, but this is using different muscle groups because you're climbing up pretty high. And it's it's going to take you, a couple hours, I think, to get to the top of this thing. It's quite long. It's longer than the several hundred yards that the first estimate was because the distance is completely deceptive. So Evaristo and Saphira, you guys both make a saving throw with Constitution.
Are we still seeing the tracks?
In here, it's too rocky for there to be tracks.
Okay.
So they're led into this crevasse, but you don't actually see any sign of them.
I got a 5.
I got a 4.
So you guys each mark Constitution. The wilderness is going to make hardy souls out of you.
Getting so much experience.
We are transforming our bodies.
Right.
So.
It feels
And-
good.
And you each take a point of Constitution damage. So your
Ooh.
Constitution is dropped by 1. So if that affects your modifier for Constitution, make sure to change that. Or just make a note that it's, that you dropped down. Are you both still okay?
I'm at a -1.
Me too.
Which was...
I had a 0. Now I have a -1.
Oh,
Me too.
rough.
Same.
Oh, rough. Oh, this is it. So by the time you guys are like you're wheezing and your thighs are just burning like crazy, and Amu and Claudio and Tio emerge from the top of the and Amu, you see no sign of booby traps or anything like that. You're very confident by the time you get to the top that nobody's taken any pains to create something like that. And you guys climb out of the crevasse and you're looking across the top of this plateau, which is sort of uneven ground, various kind of rock deposits in different places, and there's kind of scrubby dwarf, pardon the expression, fir trees, little clusters of trees here and there, and it's colder. It's significantly colder than up here than it was at the bottom. And there's even still kind of sort of drifts of snow in places. The spring melt has not fully happened up here. And Amu, you're the first person to emerge, and then you kind of scan the landscape. And actually, you're up high enough now where you're kind of above the mist level, which is mostly dissipated anyway. And now you're looking out across these other plateaus into the distance, and quite far away, past these little scrubby pines, and in the far, far distance, kind of almost invisible because of the kind of atmosphere, you can see the mountain range, and you can see the nearest of the 2 mountains that is said to mark the location of the cave of bright crystal. There are these 3 brothers that were supposed to be these standing stones or stone formations that were an important landmark.
Yeah.
And those brothers were the sons of 2 other brothers who were legendary in Nurgan culture. And their names were, what were their names? Here we go. Oh, so Viti and Isto are these two Nurgan brothers. And there are two mountains, Mount Viti and Mount Isto. And between those mountains is where the Cave of Bright Crystal is supposed to lie. And from here, because of the particular profile of this one peak, you believe that according to your, is it Uncle Otho? Is that his name?
Yeah. Yep.
You believe that that peak might be Mount Isto.
Yeah.
And now this is still quite far away, but you can just barely make out that kind of edge. And then, so that's the first, this, you emerge from this very narrow, dark crevasse into this vast expanse. It's cold. Anybody that has like a cloak is definitely pulling that tighter around them. And Tio, you notice maybe half a mile away, there's a plume of smoke. And then the two city clerics kind of come wheezing up out of the crack.
I'll point out the smoke, and we should head that way because it's cold. And I'm only wearing a chainmail shirt.
Are you sure we want to encounter them?
Yeah. They're not what are they called? They're not little bastards, or they're other people.
Yeah, well,
That'd be
people
nice.
are capable of terrible things, especially out here in these wild lands. They could overpower us and no one would find us for years.
It'll be fine.
Well, then she does speak some wisdom. Maybe one of us should sneak up on them and just listen in and see what kind of people they are. And I have some good news. See that over there? That's Mount Istu. We're right on track, just like I said.
Yes, of course, Mount Istu. What was that?
The brother, and I tell him the story of the two brothers and their sons and what happened to their sons again that made them well, the sons are under between the two brothers. If you follow the story of the Viti and Istu, the brothers of the Nurga, and I go into some really lengthy dwarven lore that about families and everybody's related to everybody and how they came from the mountains and.
So Amu, at this point, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you roll to keep company with the whole party because you're yelling at this story of dwarven history. So just roll 2d6. And did you have a bond with anybody?
I have one with Teo.
Okay, so roll 2d6, and we're going to add one for your relationship to Teo, but everybody else just gets the straight roll. So go ahead and roll that and add. Yeah, just roll the dice.
4.
So you get an XP.
Okay.
And now
I'm like, where are all the sisters in these stories? Jesus. I mean, Caracol, for Caracal's sake.
I'm right here. I'm one of the sisters.
Everybody else, all the rest of you guys have to explain why this story is just not, it's just not, it does not make you feel close to Amu. So Evaristo, how about you? You don't have to verbalize your response, but what's your internal response to it?
I couldn't follow any of it. It just, my mind just like somewhere else. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
all these dwarven names and family relationships. It's just really confusing.
Yeah.
Tio, why do you?
I stopped listening because I'm busy shoving that pelt under my chainmail to stay warm.
The pelt is like
It's big enough.
got it.
Something.
Claudio, yeah, why is that story not so great for you?
I just sense a lot of secret greed in here.
Between the lines,
Yes.
and so you're just kind of like shaking your head. So in order for Amu now to keep company with any of you before again, in hopes of increasing a bond with you, Amu's going to have to make amends somehow, make you feel better about them before they can even attempt that. And you can individually decide what that is. You don't have to say it now, but like if Amu is ever having a conversation with you that might potentially bring you closer, you're going to have to. You can describe out of character what Amu would have to do to make that. I mean, Amu may not even be interested, but so that's how that goes. Okay. I'm sure it was a really good story.
We're all just tired. We just climbed up a.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Amu is unsympathetically excited about something that nobody else can even begin to relate to.
It was like telling somebody your dream.
These rocks, this mud, can't you see it?
Okay, now is there going to be a stealthy dispatch? Is somebody going to try to scout out this campfire, if that's what it is, as according to Amu's suggestion, or what do y'all think?
It would be good to know what kind of people we're going to meet before we meet them.
Teo, aren't you pretty good at that?
I can,
Kind of thing?
sure. I can, yeah.
And if they see you, maybe they'll be more happy to see a halfling.
That's true.
Are
Okay.
you very, very cold?
It's cold. I'm
Are you
naked
just-
under this chainmail.
You're just like hovering your chest with it.
Hold on. I mean, my clothes are much bigger than you, but would you like? I've got my robe, but I've got like underclothes under it. So I'm gonna try and like take my pants off under my robe and offer them to him, and maybe my undershirt, and see, is that helpful to you? Maybe you might not be so
yeah.
cold.
I mean, I'll try your pants on.
We could see, there's a drawstring. You could really
Yeah.
maybe bring it up.
Yeah, it'll go all the way up.
Anything I can do to help.
So you're gonna,
I'm already taking my chainmail shirt off.
and I think you would. I mean, in order to actually be stealthy, the kind of clinky chainmail you would probably want to take off anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you, so you pull on.
We'll do a little trade for now.
Okay. So you hike up those trousers and tie them tight at the top there. Okay.
They fit perfect.
Is that better?
That's great.
Oh, good.
I'll tie the pelt around my neck so it kind of covers my shoulders a little bit.
Wow. That is a striking fashion statement.
I'm into your look. Yeah, I'm like looking you up and down, like, very, very creative, avant-garde.
Okay, and then you head out now. Tio, what do you got a backpack, right? Or do you have some kind of?
I'll leave the backpack. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you take?
So I'll just take. I'll sort of stick the throwing knife into my pants up here, and I'll have my warhammer with me.
Okay. Now is
But I'll
this
leave
and
everything
this is a one-handed hammer? Did we decide?
else.
Well, Warhammer in the book is one-handed, but I guess we decided yours could be two-handed and not okay, and be forced.
Maybe it's still one-handed because I'm a halfling. It's
Okay, sure, okay.
Yeah.
So when you carry that with you, sneaking around, you're holding it like this, or do you have like just kind of? I mean, I can see you kind of like crouching and moving with it. Is that the deal?
Yeah, I might use it like as a walking stick or something if I need to, or to like help climb or something.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then crossing this landscape, which is relatively open with these little, kind of, there are sort of areas of, there's like piles of rocks and broken ground and stuff. Not, you're just going to sort of look for
would there be a way to like get the high ground above as I move up?
Great question. I'm going to say, yeah, I was going to maybe have you roll luck, but from what I've described so far, I can see that there would be the broken landscape. There are places that are higher than others. So yeah, I think that as you get closer, there'll be a place where you can get kind of above where the source of the smoke is. Yeah. Great.
And I think I would try to maybe follow the tracks as close as I could until it became clear I could get to the high ground.
Okay, cool. Up here, well, I'm not going to make you roll the track because you can see the smoke, so you're just going to head in that general direction and keep your eyes open for the tracks. Yeah, so
right, yeah.
To do that, there definitely will be tracks, just not as easy as they were down in the muddy ground.
Okay, yeah.
I was thinking that we would follow close behind so that if anything happened, then we'd be right nearby.
Okay.
At least at shouting distance.
Okay, so there's going to be a point where Tio is going to have to cross some open ground where you guys would just be much more conspicuous. So you can get, I'm going to say, to the point where he has to break away and go up to this higher ground. You're probably going to be half a mile from the source of the smoke. So you would have to stop right there. Or I said the smoke was half a mile from the crevasse, so forget about that. You're a quarter mile away, and then Tio will leave you guys like in the shadow of a big rock outcropping, and then he'll take off separately from you, but still within shouting distance, so you'll be able to warn you.
Sounds good.
So to break from that, to head out from that location across more open ground towards this higher area, Tio roll dexterity to do that. Yeah.
4.
Yeah. Mark dexterity. Yeah, so I'm going to say, as you guys are all watching him, Saphira, so everybody's kind of watching Tio go up that way, and you're kind of peering over the rock outcropping down towards the area the smoke's coming from, and it's obscured by the landscape, so you can't really see the actual source of it. Tio heads up the side there, and Saphira, you see a figure kind of break free from there's a copse of scrubby fir trees, and a figure kind of breaks free of those trees and heads kind of in a kind of curving trajectory towards Theo, curving such that they clearly don't want Theo to see them. This is a human-sized figure wearing a cloak and some kind of brimmed hat, and appears to be have a bow slung on their back. So they don't have the bow out. So apparently this person saw Tio and is now trying to approach Tio without being seen. But this person does not appear to be aware of you guys.
Okay, how far is Tio from us, and how far are we from the Is okay. So if we're here and
Yeah.
Tio's here, is this person like?
It'd be better for me to describe. Okay, so picture yourself. You're there's this rock outcropping. Everybody else is on the near side of the rock outcropping. Tio leaves the outcropping to the right, and then heads up a slope. You kind of look over the outcropping, kind of, sort of in the middle of it, towards you, and you see a figure cut from your left, kind of across the landscape towards Theo's position.
Right. Okay. And Theo is Tio?
Tio, yeah, sorry.
How far at this point?
He is about, he's like 150 yards up the slope.
Okay. Guys, there's, I try to point, is the figure still in sight?
Yeah, everybody can sort of peer over the thing, and and then the figure is basically has gotten to the slope that Tio's going up turns into like it's a relatively steep. He went up a kind of shallow slope, and then it gets sort of steeper on the face that faces where the smoke is, and the figure kind of takes shelter up against that face, aware that Tio's moving along the top side, and then is stealthily making their way around to then go up right behind where Theo went. And so everybody now, when you guys peek around the rock outcropping, you see that figure, and I think when you do that, whoever has the least wisdom in your group, who is, let me see, so Tia's not with you, so wisdom. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so Claudio, roll wisdom. This is to see if the person actually spots you.
All right. Rolled a 6 minus 1, so 5.
Okay. So you get to mark wisdom.
Okay.
And that was just not having the sort of intuitive sense to know sort of when to how much to peek out when you were peeking out. The person, just as they're turning to go up after Theo, they see you, and they're very shocked. And at this distance, you can see it's a human, kind of younger person, kind of scrubby beard, straw hat, bow, quiver of arrows, dressed kind of, homespun clothing, nothing really remarkable. The person sees you and then turns and just breaks into a run and heads back towards the smoke.
You said human?
Yeah. Human male.
Male.
Sounds like Huck Finn.
Can I, so he's afraid of us.
Or regrouping, but yeah.
Okay. Well.
Do we hear the running? Do we hear running?
Everybody peeked out, so you actually
Okay.
see this person turn and run. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's done it.
We should probably go after Tio so he's not ambushed by these people, maybe?
We need some kind of a signal. I try my farmer's whistle.
Wait, to warn Theo?
Yeah.
Okay.
The signal.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a prairie hawk kind of a call to try to get his attention.
Okay. So Theo, you pick that up, and that gets your attention enough where you kind of look down the steeper slope that you're on the edge of, and you see from above, you see this figure kind of racing towards. And from here, you can see, from your angle, you can see that it's a campfire. It's a campsite as kind of expected. and you see what must be the people who left those tracks. It's this human, there's another human-sized person, and 3 halfling-sized people near this fire. So what do you do, T.O.?
I'm gonna look back like, what the heck, guys? What? Do I?
I'm like gesturing for you to just like come back.
Okay. Can I see? I'm assuming that this person running back to the campfire. Can I see like what they're doing? Do they look scared, or do they look like they're getting ready to attack? Or
they're sort of I would say that you would say that they seem scared. Yeah, they're kind of booking it, and and as they run, they kind of look over their shoulder, and not in the way that you expect like a confident warrior to look over their shoulder. They seem kind of young, and they're dressed sort of country. So yeah, I would say they do not seem. I mean, your best guess is they're running to give a warning.
okay. I'm gonna yell out to that person. Like, don't be afraid. We are travelers in service of Caracol. And then maybe something like, we're here to make your service, or something to be a little like less threatening.
You probably get enough time before they're out of hearing distance to shout the first couple of parts of that.
Okay,
Don't be afraid. Yeah. We're travelers of Caracol. Is that what you said?
In service of, yeah.
In service of Caracol, and then you know that they're too far away to get anything else. Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll head back down.
Okay. So you guys regroup. And by now the person has gotten back to that campsite. So as a group, what's your move?
What happened?
They almost got the jump on you.
Impossible.
Well, these things happen. Why don't we talk to them? And they seem like they're more scared of us than we are of them.
Yeah.
And not seasoned warriors like Claudio and myself. And if they try anything, and I take up my hatchet, I kind of hide it behind my back. I'll have this behind my back.
I'm sure it's all a big misunderstanding. I don't know why we'd assume that they're villainous.
Well, that one person was sneaking up.
Well, so were we.
Okay, so approach as a group.
Yeah.
Like no weapons. Like, is there going to be? Are you approaching kind of all together? Is there one person that's going to go ahead?
Well, I'd like to talk to them.
I'm gonna put my chainmail shirt back on.
Okay. By the way, your next drawing assignment is Tio in human pants with a weasel monkey. Okay. So Evaristo heads out in front of the group. The rest of you guys proceed behind him. I assume in a non-threatening way, not particularly quick. When you come into sight of the campsite, you see 2 halflings, a male and a female halfling, who they're just kind of like looking, kind of ready. And then in front of them are two between you and those halflings are two humans. One of them, the guy who ran back then, he's got his bow out now, and he's got an arrow knocked, but he's not pointing it at you. He's kind of holding it to the side, and he's looking kind of you can tell he's trying to look kind of tough, but he's clearly a little anxious. And then flanking him is a woman holding a pitchfork, a human woman holding a pitchfork, and she has her hair back in a kerchief. And then standing in front of all of them is somebody who, by their stance, is very clearly the leader of this group. A halfling, older woman, who's actually in the middle of eating something. She's kind of like watching you approach, Evaristo, and she's like chewing on it's like a rabbit leg or something. She's like chewing on it, and as you get closer, she kind of throws the leg down and wipes her hands on her pants, and just kind of stands there, not threatening, but kind of like unafraid as you approach.
Okay, so I've got like no, my friends. We are merely just servants of Caracol seeking a warm fire, and that perhaps you might be willing to share with us.
How many in your party?
Well, you can see it is just what you see here. The 5 of us.
And what brings you to the Fells? Why are you here?
Well, I am on a pilgrimage, as is my friend Saphira here, and these are our protectors. But we are not here to cause any harm to kind people, certainly.
And so you're asking for a seat at the fire, basically?
Yes.
Okay, roll charisma.
+1. So a 4.
There you go. For it. Well, mark charisma.
All right.
You'll get better at this talking, man. It pains me to not offer the courtesy of a warm fire, but in these lands we cannot be too careful. I hope you and your God will forgive us that. We will leave you our campsite and move on. And then she sort of gestures for everybody to kind of like pack up.
If any of you are feeling lost in your lives, or if you need some assistance with your spiritual self, I am here for you. In any way, I'm just here to help.
Roll luck.
That's a 6.
Yeah, they all they appear to ignore what you're saying, except the human woman, the one with the kerchief, like gives you this look like, fuck you. Like, I mean, if the finger existed in this world, she would give it to you. Like she's just like gives you this look of just utter just no. And they pick up their stuff. They leave you, the fire's there, and it's not a huge fire, but you could definitely add wood to make it a nice warm fire. And before they kind of depart, the woman who's in charge says, "I wish you a safe journey. Perhaps we will meet again." in more in safer circumstances.
Would you be just willing to answer a couple questions?
Roll charisma again.
That's a 7. That's an 8. An 8.
An 8. Okay. What do you got to eat? So the other 4 kind of pause for a moment and look back, and she's standing there. And
is your party low on rations? Because I could certainly.
I'm just tired of all the food. All they're doing is hunting small game, and I could really go for some berries or a decent drink or anything else.
I've got some very nice herbs here. Some healing herbs.
Can you eat them? She kind of takes them and sniffs them and says, like,
I think they would make a very nice tea.
She doesn't. She just kind of turns and walks away.
Well, I hope you can find some peace in your life.
I step forwards in a gruff kind of way, and I hold out a loaf of bread, and I say, "The Chia Barretto."
And she freezes, and she turns around. Do I know you, dwarf?
No.
How do you know me?
Well, there's a lot of people in town that are wondering what happened to you. And we were wondering what to tell them.
She holds out her hand for you to throw her the bread.
I toss it to her.
So mark off a ration. She smells it. Is this dwarf bread?
No, it's from Pescalto.
Oh, I can almost smell the fish. She like breaks off a hunk. She looks over at her traveling companions, gives them a glance. You can tell them that when I return, I will have changed this whole region. I will find what everybody has been looking for, and I'll get rich doing it. Thanks for the bread.
What are you looking for?
Well, if I told you that, I'd have competition. And she gives you this smile, and she's got like the crookedest teeth you've ever seen, like just like weird, different angles, yellow, crazy. Like there's a fang that's sticking out sideways. She never, you didn't see him until she smiled, but she gives you this crazy snaggletooth smile.
What did we remember that Armando told us about her disappearing? She was a farmer.
And just that she just picked up one day and headed off into the wilderness with some other people from the community.
Oh.
And there was nobody knows, according to him, what little he said, nobody knew why she'd done it.
And I say to her, she turns around, well, I'd like to be rich too, just like you.
I like elbow him. Her, the dwarf.
You elbow
Yeah.
in the side of the head. She pauses for a second and looks back at you, Amo, and you can tell she just has a moment where she's thinking. She stops chewing for a second, and she just kind of she contemplates something briefly, and then she just raises her hand and says, "Good luck," and then they're gone.
I'm gonna elbow Claudio and kind of say loudly, like, "Ha! They think they know where the Cave of the Bright Crystal or whatever it's called is." Like, kind of jab at them.
And
like we know where it is.
Like you know where it is. Okay.
Yeah.
The younger the straw hat guy, who the first person you saw, the straw hat guy, gives you kind of a look back of sort of surprise, and the male halfling also kind of, they both just kind of give a glance back when you say that, and then they
bye.
Okay, so here you got a new.
And then I shout back, that cave is just a legend. Fools.
Okay, so then you can throw more wood on the fire and warm up before you carry on, or carry on from here. This hasn't really delayed your journey at all.
Guys, we have to get there before them.
And then I say to Tio, I was like, why did you talk about the cave? Now they know we're looking for the cave too.
Are you sure that's where they're headed?
Obviously, that's where they're headed.
They could have been going anywhere.
This is the local get-rich-quick scheme.
You know, they could have been going for some other cave.
Well, it's a good thing we know where it is, and they don't.
Do we know they don't know where it is?
Do we know
where it is? They know that we know where it is, and they're going to come after us.
I'm who knows where it is. Who knows the song?
Just don't sing the song too loud.
What did you say, JP? I mean, yeah.
That you know where it is. Like you know the song.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know.
I know where it is.
Do you?
Are you questioning me?
She recognized that mountain.
How true.
Look.
That might be more than they know. This is Dwarfland, right? We have our Dwarvish historian right here. I mean, I didn't love the story, but you know, storytelling is hard.
We're right on track. See, Mount Istu right before us. The Green River. Let's get warm around the fire. Enough talk.
Okay, so sort of a midday break, and then you can carry on for the rest of the day's journey, unless there's anything else that anybody wanted to do in that span. Everybody okay? Yeah.
Are they? Is there like a path that they're continuing on, or is it clear from where we know where they've come from and like the direction that they're heading off? Are they just going in the same direction, or are they?
They actually veered from your position. So you came up from basically the north side. You were headed south to climb up this crevasse. And then from the campsite, they headed south. And then when they hit there's a tree line, they kind of veered off to the east, so to the left. So not just straight ahead from the crevasse, they're kind of angling to the left.
So like not the way that we would be going.
I mean, you know, out here you just navigate the landscape, and sometimes you need to go other directions to get through really difficult stuff, but not directly towards Mount Isto. No.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys proceed to the far edge after your break. You everybody warms up. You put some more dead branches on the fire, and then you proceed to towards the mountain, and you get to this particular plateau. By the end of the day, or by mid-afternoon, you reach the far edge of it, and you have to make your way. You have to kind of pick your way down back to the kind of lower level that you had started out on, right? So you've gone up onto this plateau, crossed it, and now you have to kind of go down the other side. But when you get to that edge and you look down from this perspective, you're seeing from up here, you're seeing all these different plateaus and different kind of levels of landscape. Towards in the direction you're heading, you see it's kind of a multi-level, like a stepped landscape with different kind of broken rock formations. Still with these kind of scrubby trees, and then those higher levels that are actually snowy. Not like really deep snow, but there's like a powdering of snow up there. So you make your way down the far side of that one, and then you cross. You spend a good 3 hours crossing open landscape that's rocky. There's this broken mud flatty stuff. There's little trickles of water. Spring grasses are kind of coming up in different places. And by the end of the day, as the sun's setting, and down here between the plateaus, you're in shadow sooner than you would be otherwise. You reach basically, or you find yourself looking at a very expansive kind of cliff that you can see. There's ways to kind of pick your way up it. It's not like sheer. There's definitely ways you can get up there. And the question here at the end of the day before the sun sets is, do you want to camp out at the base of that cliff, or do you want to try to like make it to the top before nightfall? The advantage being you'd be higher ground.
I say let's go for it.
Yeah, let's hustle. I want to get to this cave before these country bumpkins.
Okay.
I feel good.
Okay. Great.
I honestly, but I'm
Sorry,
driven.
you broke up a bit there. What could you repeat that?
I'm exhausted, but I'm driven.
Okay. Great.
I want to scan the landscape to see if we're being watched.
Excellent. Yeah, roll to perceive.
A 9 minus 1.
Great. So you got one question, and is it just, do you want to phrase it any other way, or are we being watched?
Yeah, are we being watched? That's pretty much it. Has anybody been seeing or watching our progress, and can anybody see us, or does it look like anybody's? I just been scanning around, looking behind. I kind of fell to the back.
Let me just check for a second here. No. Nobody. I'm sure like wildlife is paying attention to your passage, but no, you do not sense or perceive any creature with an active interest in you, keeping an eye on you. You don't perceive that.
All right. Let's go.
Okay. So once again, the city folk are pushing their muscles even further to climb up this particular. Now, yeah, I assume you don't want to go so fast that it's unsafe. You're going to kind of go up carefully, right? Because nobody wants to fall from a great height. Yeah, so to do that, let me check out the. I'm going to have, actually, so Tio, Evaristo, and Saphira. Tio, at this point, you're, the area, the region that you're used to hanging out with doesn't have as many ups and downs, so this is a little bit of a challenge for you with your shorter legs. So
Can I?
Tio, yeah.
I wanna invoke Caracol.
Okay.
And I'm gonna eat some of my psychedelic lichen. Just a little microdose. and I'm gonna offer it to Tio and Evaristo if they care to join me.
Heck yeah. Chomp. Yeah.
It's only we won't leave this plane or anything.
You know how I feel about that, Saphira.
Well, you haven't tried it yet. I mean,
My body is a temple.
yeah,
Karakal.
a temple. Be the host, man.
I understand, but it's just not for me.
All right. Well, I will. I'll give a little to Tio. Yeah, I'm gonna at the base of this climb. Just chew on my lichen a little bit, and I just want to request. I'm just shut my eyes, and I'm asking that Karakal transform my body to give me the strength to or give us the strength to get up this climb without injuring ourselves, so that we may complete our journey for Karakal.
Great. So you made are you going to say me or us?
Us. Well, yeah, us.
Okay. And by us, you mean the whole party? Or do you mean just Karakal?
I think me and Tio.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, actually, if any of you guys want to join this ritual, it's open to you. I have been trained in leading these rituals, so there's little danger here.
A ritual to make you climb like a snail? What is it?
Well, perhaps we shall be sticky like a snail, and stay upon the cliff without any suffering.
I'm gonna go look for firewood.
Fair
I'm gonna
enough.
make a little bundle. Whenever I see like a dry branch that seems like good firewood, I'm gonna add it to my bundle and carry it along up the, because I don't know if there's gonna be any trees up there or whatever.
Okay, great. And Claudio, are you declining also?
Well, I have a prayer book, so I'm sort of like trying to follow along. Do I have to take the lichen?
I think to partake.
The ritual requires that you.
It requires it.
Yeah.
Okay,
but it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit.
There are different, belief systems that and me and Severa diverge here, and that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, Claudio, you caught between. There's a little bit of a ideological / psychedelic junction.
Eat the shroom. Eat the shroom.
No, I'd like to taste it. Sorry.
Great. Yeah. All right. So, Sophie, that was such a good description of the snail climbing. That's hubris 0 for this one. To apply to all the ritual lichen imbibers. So go ahead and roll to invoke.
Can Tio help me on this one, because he's also a follower of Karakal, or is this not a thing I can get help?
You can totally get help on it if Tio can explain how he's helping.
Okay, so I haven't partaken in this ritual before, but I will. What kind of ground are we standing on?
At this point, so down here where you are, it's rocky. That kind of broken dry mud flat. There's trickling water and little sprouts of spring grass coming up through, between the rocks.
Okay. So I'll start to like draw spirals into the ground. If there's like places where there's rocks. I'll try and move the rocks to kind of like make a path of a spiral. Like,
and Saphira,
that we can surround.
Are you like chanting, or what's the ritual part for you?
So to begin with, I'm just doing like basic guided meditation. So like close your eyes, you know, see the great swirl of Caracol.
Oh, nice. So wait, are you guys like sitting down for this?
Yeah. We're sitting.
Okay, so the Dwarf Soft gathering firewood. Claudio is going to partake. Evaristo is just observing. Is that what you're doing? Okay. And the other three of you are yes. So Saphira is leading you in this. And okay, go ahead. Carry on with your description.
Yeah, you know, I'm just, you know, your thoughts are like clouds, you know, drifting away. You feel sink into the great swamp that is this world.
Awesome. And you have no objection to Tio making these contributing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, so definitely you get a +1 to invoke for that.
Okay. So do I get, oh, it's not, I don't get any plus or minus from any.
Well, I guess you have your holy symbol, right? Which is, what's your holy symbol?
Yeah, it's my belt buckle.
Oh yeah, okay.
How
do you like hold on,
so I'm
like a Texan?
Yeah, I'm like sitting with my arms like around, you know, it's like you would have if you're meditating, you have your hands just like this in your lap, and they're kind of just like
Great. Yes, that's +1 as well. So that's +1 for the help, +1 for the holy symbol.
Okay.
And then if you wanted to spend favor, you could do that as well. But.
Yeah, I'll spend favor. Why not?
Okay.
I haven't spent any favor so far. So is that +3?
That's +3.
Okay, so I have to roll pretty bad. All right, that's I rolled a 7, so it's a 10.
Okay. So normally this would give you the wished for boon at duration 3. I think that'll easily get you through this whole climb. So the ritual is complete. You guys you're chewing on this lichen. Now, what is the kind of what is the low level effect of this stuff? Like, what does it do to your perception?
I think at a really low dose, you see some of the sort of swirling in some of the colors of the edges. Sorry, my cat is having a time. Yeah, so I think that my sect believes that the swirl partially comes from, you know, that symbolism partially comes from the imbibing of this from the visions that you get when you imbibe this. So you would just see very minor sort of
like along the edges of things, or at the edge of perception. Okay, great. I'm going to say that we didn't establish this before, but I'm going to say you have 3 uses of this lichen.
Okay.
I mean, it's a really cool thing, and I think it has this awesome quality to it, and we'll just say that you have a limited supply.
Sure.
And I don't know, we can figure out where you're going to get more of it, but for now, you can mark off 1 use of it. Claudio, do you have any particular reaction to this slight shifting of your perception?
It's mild.
Okay. So you're not like weirded out or put off. You're like, okay, we're doing this. This is cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys are ready to go, and you set off. Unless anybody wants to go ahead, I think the lichen eaters are going to be leading the way here. Does anybody else want to get ahead of that? Amu's happy to hang back, and okay. So, and this is what those of you who chewed and are now ascending, as you sort of climb up these rocks, at first it's slightly dizzying, but then there's this feeling where you reach out towards the next handhold or the next rock, and it's as if the earth kind of comes to meet your hand. It kind of like almost curly cues into the palm of your hand, and you get this after a while. You feel like anywhere you put a hand or a foot, the earth is going to be there to like meet you. And the rest of you, Evaristo in particular, as you're coming up behind them, it's this very strange experience to see these people just super. It's slow, but they're just extremely confident. There's no hesitation. Every gap, every like place they could offer a difficult spot, they just like are, it's just like totally a natural flow that they get into. And then after, the sun is set by the time you guys reach the top, but you do reach the top. And Evaristo, you have to roll Constitution to do it the unaided way.
Okie doke. That's a 7.
Okay. Yeah, you take another point of Constitution damage.
All right.
You're pretty well and good wiped out when you get to the top of that. And Amu comes up after you and just like, you kind of like collapse at the top, and Amu just like steps over your body. Amu is like the dwarf is just like, this is just not difficult at all. Dwarf had a very easy time with it. And the first stars are coming out when you guys get to the top, so that adds to this effect of, the three of you that participate in that ritual have this weird kind of transcendent moment where you come up onto the next plateau, and the first stars are coming out, and you just sort of lie back and take in the whole swirl of the universe overhead as the sky turns from dark blue to black. Are you guys going to have a campfire tonight?
I was going to make one.
Okay.
If there's seems like a defensible position that somebody did come after us, we wouldn't be trapped.
So you don't want to be like right at the cliff's edge. You want to be in a more open ground? Or would you want, like running, escaping down this cliff at speed would not be safe?
No, I think I would want to be able to see anybody coming.
Okay.
Ideally, not be in like a little, like where the other folks were, in a little valley with a fire where people could see us from a long way and then sneak up on us.
So maybe a ledge or a higher
hill or something. Yeah.
Okay. So in order to do that at this time of day, you're going to have to kind of go searching for that.
Yeah.
So you can head off on your own and do that. You can take.
I'll help.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can help.
Let's find a good spot to make a fire.
You don't want to hang out with these trippers anymore.
I think you better rest.
Okay, so Amu and Evaristo head off looking for. And Evaristo is helping you, Amu. And you're gonna roll. I think you're ahead. So you're perceiving. Now the trade-off here, just so you know, I mean, you're impatient, so this may not matter, but it's possible that you might get lost if you roll poorly, because it's dark and you're both going to have to find your way back. I just want you to be well aware that that's one of the possible consequences.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess I would just say, in the spirit of trying to find a safe place, I don't want to do something unsafe, like go too far. Like if I can't find a safe place that's nearby and easy to get to, I'll probably just come back.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, okay, so in that case, if you're just going to make a quick, brief excursion and not really go hunting, I'm just going to have you roll luck to see if there's something nearby.
Okay. Plus help or no?
Yeah, no, he's there, but
Can't really help somebody's luck, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I got 3 minus 1.
Could
So,
I do a separate luck roll in that case?
no,
No.
because you both went together.
Okay.
When you do things as a group, there's just one. Everybody doesn't get to roll. You just, and it may be that you have better luck. Is that the case? By 1 point, but yeah, okay, I'll let you do it. So in that case, I sort of went too fast. I should have had you roll because you have the higher luck, right? I should have used the higher luck.
He has a 6.
Mamu has -2 modifier. You have a -4.
Oh yeah.
No,
Is that all right?
Well,
Do I have that wrong?
I have a lucky rabbit's foot too.
Oh.
And oh yeah, I think I just have a -1.
Is your luck?
My luck is 7, but it's been reduced to 6 because of the my hit point roll. But that's still a -1, right?
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I got it completely wrong here.
That's all right.
But
that still would put me at 2 with my roll, which is about as bad as you can get.
And Evaristo, so your current luck, Amo, is 6, right?
Yeah.
And,
but I do have a lucky rabbit's foot.
Okay, and Evaristo, what's your current luck?
7.
Okay, so yeah, you go ahead and make the roll.
Me?
Yeah, because your actual luck is higher, so I should have
rolled a 6
after the -1.
Mm-hmm.
So both you guys, despite hoping for the best, this current level of plateau you're on is just like a flat open expanse. There's a couple of uneven parts of the ground, but nothing that would offer higher. So you could make camp more towards the, away from the edge of the cliff or near the cliff, because maybe that has some advantage that you can imagine, but you don't find any higher ground.
Let's just make a fire here.
Okay, I'll make a fire. Great. And our friends are recovering from there, and there's going to be, so everybody's going to mark a ration for the end of the day. That sort of is all the food you've eaten during the day. We just mark it in the evening. So everybody's able to do that. You got enough food? Okay. And I'm going to offer anybody who wants to can keep company with anybody who volunteers may, if they wish, keep company with one other person. You don't have to, but the option for one pair of people to do that is here. Okay.
I'm going to keep company with Evaristo, if that's all right.
So Evaristo, what is
Oh.
What does Amu have to do to?
He has to make amends.
Yeah. So what?
She has to make amends.
She has to make amends. How would that happen? It's not that Amu needs to know this, but you need to tell us, out of character, what Evaristo, what's going to make Evaristo want to like engage more with Amu.
I think just to be, it's like for her to be really friendly to me. Does that make sense?
Like you want to. By the way, your alignment is good and Amu's alignment is evil.
Right.
So what you really want from Amu is like genuine warmth. Is that what you want?
I just want to. I want her. I want to feel like that she likes me.
Okay. So Jan, you as the player know that that's what's going to have to happen.
Right.
So,
I'm intimidated, but I want approval.
Yes, of course. Yes. I mean, who wouldn't want approval from the squinty-eyed dwarf with the hat and the great songs and bad stories? So Jan, is Amu's approach going to be anything like that, or is it just going to be a?
I think what she was mostly interested in is just trying to figure out who these crazy snail clerics are.
Okay.
And from sort of like a bonding point of view, being like, what was going on with that snail swirling thing and all the climbing. That was strange, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, they have. My friend Saphira has certain methods, and they're her the group of followers that she associates with. They have certain ways, and that involves clouding the mind in certain ways, and it is effective, but it comes with costs, I think. That's
And
my
I
you're a
hear you
follower.
guys.
You're a follower of the snail too, right?
yes, that's right. I of course, yes.
And the
Are you guys
snail.
are you guys having this conversation away from the campsite, or can Saphira hear you right now?
I guess I was imagining we were slightly apart, but I don't know that I would be hiding the conversation myself. I don't know about Evaristo, but
Okay.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so Saphira, you can totally hear it if you choose to.
Right.
um,
So we're not like trashed. We're just sitting. We're just sitting here.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
oh, what's the point of this snail god? Does it make you brave? You are brave. I like the way you talk to those people.
I am excited to be out on this journey. I've been waiting for it for some time, and
And I say, you're brave, and I hit you in the chest.
I suppose I am. Thank you. I'm trying. It's wonderful to get out of the city and into the real muck and grime of the real world. It's really thrilling, really. So I like to think of myself in that way. Thank you.
And in her head, she's kind of making fun of you, but she's really trying to figure out what makes these snail people tick.
Everista, would you say that counts as?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Yeah. Amu, go ahead and roll. Do you have any bonds with Everista right now?
No.
Okay, then just roll straight up 2d6.
9.
Okay, you can gain a bond with them. They can gain a bond with you. You just choose who gets the bond.
I think Evaristo just gained a bond with me.
Okay. So make a note of that. Okay, and then Claudio.
Is there a certain way I should write that?
You just write in the bonds section.
Yeah.
Just write Amu and just draw a little circle, and that means you have a bond with Amu. And when you mark that circle, you get you add a +1 to help.
Okay,
and
great.
That circle will remain there. And then when you converse again, when you keep company again, you get to erase the mark that you made. So it basically counts as it's a resource you can use to help out Amu.
Okay.
Claudio, will you roll to see how the night passes?
Yes.
It's 2d6 minus, you're in perilous territory, so 2d6 minus 1.
9.
Okay. Someone may offer a song, story, exhortation, or words of wisdom. Everyone who listens takes +1 forward to act on this offering, but their sleep will not be restful tonight. So you need restful sleep if you want to heal up. So those of you, it's totally up to you. So someone, any one of you can offer, something to say to the group in some expression of some kind. However people are going to act on that, it has to relate to the offering that you make. So for instance, if you told a story of a great battle that once happened, and should we face any foes tomorrow, let us remember this battle. Then if you did face foes tomorrow, you take +1 forward against them. So it all depends on what kind of offering you want to make, and it's the next time that thing happens. So it doesn't have to be tomorrow. It could be at any point you can recall this story or words of wisdom. Does anybody have any offering they wish to make?
I can jump in, but I don't want to steal the floor. I feel like I've been talking a lot. I want to give somebody else a chance.
Yeah, same.
I just don't feel wise today.
Yeah, Amo, you're a talkative dwarf. Go ahead. What do you got?
All right. So,
I will say before you, I will say that a story will probably not be welcome.
I'm not going to give a story. Of course, they love my singing. Why would I tell a story? So I'm going to sing this the song of the crystal caves again, and there's all kinds of verses with the flowers that grow in springtime in the valley of the cave of crystal, and little landmarks and things that you can pick out that would give you a clue as to where it is. And one of the things is the how bad the grazing is. So she sings a song, oh, my cow eats from the grass way up high in the mountain pass as the wind is blowing. And all the milk she gives to me is as thin can be. There will be no butter. Anyway.
Wow.
And then, so in theory, maybe we'll have some more like insight into finding this cave in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Fantastic. Lovely. Is anybody going to choose not to listen and sort of fall asleep while that song is happening? No, everybody's listening to the song. Okay, great. So let us remember that I'm going to make a note of that. +1 forward to find the what the heck is it? Oh, in Nurga, the bright cave is called the Kirkas Luala. That's what they call it in Nurga. I assume you're singing in sort of a common translation of the Nurgan song. Is that
true?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if she's an expert in the old Nurgan way of speaking. You know, I think that her family were descendants from the people who fled that area, and they had, you know, mingled with all the other folks that lived in the area, and she's kind of like a few generations removed. So whatever she knows from her uncle, who was kind of like a nerd that way.
Okay, great. Awesome. So then everybody kind of falls asleep. Those of you who chewed the lichen, you know, looking up at the you know, you're like Sophie said, it's not like you were totally knocked out. You recovered easily, and now you're just sort of staring up into the sky, which is just full of stars, like uncountable jewels in the heavens. And you drift off to sleep, and the night passes without mishap. And when you wake up in the morning, those of you who got restful sleep, and nobody did because you all listened to this song, and perhaps your dreams were filled with visions of skinny cows. And the next morning, there is a powdering of snow across the whole campsite and your bodies when you wake up. So, you know, the fire is started, and everybody kind of huddles around it as breakfast is had. And what anything happened before you embark on the next leg here? I did update the map to show you where you are camped. Okay. So You're at that leftmost yellow diamond there. So now that you're up on this plateau, I mean, your plan had been to sort of head straight for it. So I assume you're going to continue on the way.
Yeah.
Is that a fair plan? Okay. So let us set out again. And in this case, moving along, I'm going to have Tia, why don't you roll this one? 2d6 -1 because of the perilous region.
9.
Okay. And then roll a Sophie, will you roll a d12?
5. I also just noticed that there's something on a 10 plus. I could make the invocation permanent if I permaburn an ability point.
Yeah. Wow, you totally could.
I mean, I'm about that.
Is that permanent for all of us?
Permaburn 1 ability point of your choice per point of hubris. But didn't you say it was hubris 0?
I did say it was hubris 0. Perhaps that was a miscalculation on my point. Oh yeah, because then it would be automatic permanent if you rolled 10 or higher. This is what playtesting is for. So I got to make a note. Let's see, burn 1 ability point, recharge per point of humorous. And I'm going to say minimum 2 on that. So I think you'd have to burn 2 ability points.
And
What do you want to do, Sophie?
I just noticed that on the invoke move, which is what I used to make us have that be able to climb, that on a 10, I got a 10, and on a 10 plus, you can make the effects permanent if I permaburn. Well, now Jason's saying 2. Do I have to like any ability point? I mean, what?
Yeah, so it reduces your maximum score. So if it could be any 2 different abilities or 1 ability if you wanted to.
Okay.
So you'd be weakening yourself for the rest of your character's life in order to gain insight into climbing?
It doesn't seem like
I mean, we're adventuring.
and you're in mountains.
Yeah, I'll do it. Why not?
Okay. What are you gonna?
But only I get it. My bros don't get it.
Well, I mean, that was the boon was when you asked for all of them, and they are. I mean, Claudio, you're a believer in Caracol, right?
I would say so. Yeah,
I mean,
that makes sense.
the prayer book is a prayer book of Caracol. Is that?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the city I'm from has a shrine. So
Yeah. Okay. But you're not a cleric of Caracol. Yeah. No, I'm going to say that's. I mean, I'm going to have to adjust the cost there, but I think, yeah, if you permanent burn 2 ability points, then you will have given these guys the ability to slowly and with care be able to climb, not a sheer rock surface, but be able to make a difficult climb without having to roll, basically. So, yeah.
Okay, I'll do it.
Sweet. Wow, you guys have received a blessing of the god there. Thanks to Saphira.
But you're not going to have, the visions were from the lichen, right? We're not like having hallucinations all the time.
I think when you take advantage of this in the future, I think you'll enter a somewhat trance-like state, but you won't like have hallucinations. You'll just be, you'll move slowly and you'll be very focused as you make your way up, whatever.
Okay.
Awesome.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Yeah, so as you guys are, how many rations does everybody have? Just call it out. 5. We got 5 from Amu.
7.
JP has 1.
5.
Oh wait, no, I have 5. 5.
Okay. Claudio, how many do you have?
0.
Okay. So the thing that happens is that at a certain point, you guys realize there's no running water up on this plateau. There's no streams. Usually there'd be spring runoff, but it's cold enough up here where there's no, that's not happening at all. And the powdered snow, there's not enough of it to melt in order to drink. So you go through your water, your gourds of water, and then at about the halfway point in the day, you realize that, Amu and Tio are kind of scanning around looking for water sources, and it's just, there's nothing to be had. So around midday, you have kind of run through your everybody just has like one gourd of water. And that has been basically spent. Or I'm going to say like, I think between the whole group, there's a certain point where some of you decided to drink less, and maybe you have 2 water gourds worth by the time you realize that there's no potable water up here on this current level that you're at. So you can carry on ahead and hope to find water somewhere up ahead, or take some other action that might be helpful.
This is, as I was worried that the dry grasses that I sang about last night, well, we would find them. But if we can find the pass between the 3 brothers into the valley where the starflowers grow, that should have more water. So our aim is twofold. Find the cave and find the water. I don't know if I need to spout knowledge or whatever to say that that's actually true.
I think that's great. Nope.
All right.
Spout knowledge. That's great. Okay, let me just adjust the map here.
Let's not give up now, just because we're a little thirsty. Means we're close.
Sorry, I'm just adjusting the map here. Okay. Okay, by the end of that day, you're parched. You've all sort of stopped drinking as much as possible. Really limited yourself to that, and you're down to 1 gourd of water. Basically, you climb up another top of the next plateau in order to make as straight a path as possible towards your goal. And at this point, when you top this next rise, you see as you kind of come up the Mount. What did I call the mountain? What's it called?
Isto.
Mount Isto is crisper and sharply delineated against the kind of misty, foggy background. And then further past Mount Isto, you see Mount Viti, which is almost, you can see how they might have thought of these as brothers, because they have a almost like a mirror image of each other in terms of their profile. So they're clearer, and in fact, from this distance, you can even make out the actual kind of the ravines and stuff on the slopes. You can actually make out the kind of 3-dimensional features of the mountain. It's no longer just like a vague shape. and you're basically out of water. Looking down from this plateau that you're on, below you at this time of day, it descends into more rocky forested area into the distance before you can't really see any further. And the day passed without any incidents besides running out of water. So now you're going to spend the night again. So everybody mark a ration. And then Saphira, will you roll to pass the night? 2d6 minus 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. If I'm out of rations, can someone please?
Absolutely.
Sure.
I give here.
Thank you.
I give you 2 rations.
Oh, that's so generous. Thank you.
No problem. I have plenty.
I rolled an 8 minus 1, 7.
Okay. And then Donna, will you roll a d12?
Yes. 7.
Okay.
Jason?
Yeah.
Can I add a little detail? I'm wondering if it's possible before bed if I can set some snares around to try to catch some rabbits or other critters.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Like to have and to hope that that happens during the night.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
I can help.
Yeah.
Sure. Can I help?
How are you gonna just help set them up?
I really want to help.
I try to teach Evaristo how to set a snare.
I need to learn how to do that.
Okay, great. So in the fading light, you're kind of schooling him in that stuff. Let's see here. Claudio, you don't have great luck either, do you? Claudio. Okay. So you guys wake up in the morning. Nothing happens during the middle of the night. Claudio, what do you have in your backpack?
Let's see. So a prayer book. So if nothing is written down, am I like meant to keep anything in particular, or is there?
When we bought gear in the first session, did you buy anything besides you started off with your spear and all the stuff that you got randomly. Did you buy it in the marketplace?
No, I mean I had a water skin to start and the knife. I don't know that I keep the knife in my backpack though.
Okay. And any other gear besides? So you got your spear, your shield, armor.
That's it.
Okay.
The prayer book, yeah.
So when you wake up in the morning, the prayer book, you don't know what you did with it the night before, but it is open, and some of the pages have been like there's a harsh wind blowing, and some of the pages are just being like blown across the plateau. So the glue in the binding, or whatever the rabbits can glue or whatever, has come unstuck. The book is open, and there's a wind kind of blowing the pages across the landscape.
Oh God, Caracol. So am I able to like try to collect the pages that blown out? Or?
Sure. Yeah. Roll dexterity.
Let's see. So 11 plus 1.
Oh, okay. So, okay. So, and I think so. Evaristo is doing something. Yeah, Evaristo, what are you doing? Are you doing any at this altitude without a river nearby? How are you praying, or how do you?
It's very confusing. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay, so you're thinking about it. You're like,
Yeah.
what do I do up here? And you see, you hear, oh no! And Claudio, in the distance, Claudio was camped out a little bit further away from you, runs across the rocky ground. The pages are getting kicked up in the air, and you realize that the pages of Claudio's prayer book have come unstuck.
Oh dear.
Surely, either a bad omen or possibly, I don't know, maybe Caracol looks poorly upon bound books. I'm not really sure. You're not really sure. You can interpret that as you wish. And you're too far away to help, but you watch Claudio kind of run, and very remarkably expertly, like 2 steps, snatches a page out of the air, 2 more steps, reaches down, snatches another page, and this kind of kind of ballet of
Mary Poppins.
And running right towards the edge of the plateau. And then Claudio, you get right to the edge, and you that last page is just like drifting right over the cliffside, and you stop and you reach out into space and grab the page, and you pull the page back, and you're standing right at the edge, the far edge of the plateau, and you look down. And in the morning now, the mist has settled enough where you see the next lower level, and then the next lower level, and then below that you see this enormous kind of U-shaped. It's like a U-shaped cliff. So that the sort of 2 levels down, that then drops into like a U-shaped basin, and at the far, kind of at the furthest part of the U, this U shape, there's an enormous waterfall, like this enormous drape or curtain of water. At this distance, you can't even really. It's so far away that that it's hard for you to even gauge. But it's crystal clear for a moment, and there's this huge curtain of water pouring over these white cliffs. And you take a step back and to get sort of a better view, and you see that now. So right at the top of those cliffs is where the 2 brothers come together, right at the top of those cliffs. And there's a mirror-like lake kind of stretching between those 2 mountains. Again, just very, very far in the distance, like trees at this distance are just little specks, but you have this really crystal clear image of that. And then you sort of pull back from the edge, and maybe it's residual stuff from the lichen you took, or maybe it's this new awareness of Caracol, but you're just struck by the kind of lucidity of this vision before you. Yeah, so you see that,
and I'm not in danger where I'm standing.
No, you just grabbed that last page, and then you stepped back into safety.
Well, I'll excitedly run back and tell people what I saw. Oh no, go ahead.
No, were you gonna say something else?
No, I was just gonna. I can interrupt whatever people are doing and say, I think I saw it. I think I know where to go. But it looks very dangerous, and I'm not sure we can scale that distance.
So we cut to a view of that cliff edge, and all 5 of you are standing there. So we have the warrior with the spear and the shield, and the Is your beard braided, Claudio?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
braided beard. The dwarf with the squinty eye and the hatchet in hand. The is Tio wearing his large pants? the tattooed halfling with excellent sartorial decisions. Evaristo. Oh yeah, you've got the tonsure, right? The hair, the bowl haircut, and the big necklace there, and your staff, that you got from the apothecary guy, and then Saphira. Saphira, do you travel? Do you walk with the staff, the jeweled staff?
Yeah, I put my club in my bag.
Okay.
So I can walk in with the staff.
And Saphira with the amazing jumpsuit, which is pretty soiled at this point in the journey, I think. And then you all sort
Makes
of
it look
down.
more swamp-like.
Yes, definitely. You look down from that prospect, and you see just what Claudio was talking about. And Amu, there were other songs, of course, not just about cows that did not have enough milk to make butter, but songs of incredible waterfalls and the two brothers and what is legendarily rests at their feet at the top of the waterfall. And we're going to cut there as it approaches midnight.
Oh, goodness.
And we're going to wrap up. Woo! Here we go. Did anybody feel? Oh, like I'll go one at a time. Claudio, did you feel like you fulfilled your alignment goal?
Well, I tried to help Tio from eating bad meat, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's neutral or like yeah, that's probably just me being nice.
Also, that may also count. One of your traits is fair, right?
Yeah, right.
So
So it might just be the fairness then.
Yeah, that just might be like, it's not fair. If I just let him eat that meat, that just wouldn't be, that wouldn't be.
Right.
So we could call that you fulfilled a trait, but maybe not your alignment goal.
Right. That's better. Yeah.
What's your alignment goal?
Correcting an imbalance.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember that happening. So you get a point for the trait.
Cool.
We didn't solve any. You did solve a problem with violence.
I did hit.
Yeah, you hit a decent creature. You hit a fanged weasel monkey. So you get XP for that. Great. Amu, did you fulfill an alignment goal?
Alignment goal? No.
Yeah.
I didn't inflict any harm. And I was trying to remember, you were talking about, potentially changing alignment. And I can't find anything in the first book, the basic rules about that. But
yeah,
I don't know if it's appropriate, but
if you go to the playtest docs, in the basic moves of the basic rules, it's part of the wrap up move actually, and I can just explain it to you now. Actually, after we go through all the stuff here, so you get a point. You're definitely impatient and flexible and stubborn, and you're working the impatient angle, I think, very well, to good effect. So you get XP for that.
Okay.
And you're a fighter. Did you solve a problem with violence?
No, I didn't hurt anybody today.
Not today. Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot of fighting, just these one critters. Okay. Moving on to Tio, alignment goal.
I don't think so.
Maintain
I mean,
a style balance between the wilderness and the city.
I feel like because I buried the monkey thing, but I think I'm the one that made the imbalance too. So maybe that doesn't count.
Wait, what's the imbalance there in your mind?
Like returning, or maybe that's more my tenant, like returning something living to the earth.
Oh, okay.
So it can grow new.
Yeah. Okay. So let's work on the wording of that. Not right now, but that's your job
Yeah.
for next time, is to work on the wording. But that's great. If there's something about taking a living thing, or maybe nothing's going to waste, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
You're sort of giving a cooked animal back to the earth. I'm not sure how unwasteful that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that fits in there. We'll give you the tenant point at least. And then traits, you're a liar and you're idealistic.
I thought I was pretty trusting of that other group that we saw, or I thought that they would be our friends. I don't know if that counts as idealistic.
I mean, it all depends on what ideals you might hold. If one of your ideals is other halflings are, should be trusted, that could certainly be an ideal.
I guess I haven't thought about.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll give you definitely get a point for that.
Okay.
And alignment goal, the imbalance thing, maybe not.
Yeah.
Unless somebody comes up with, okay. Evaristo, alignment goal. You're good.
Yeah, I helped those in need at my own expense.
And you gave Claudio rations.
And I gave Tio my pants.
You're a charitable bastard. Excellent. You get an XP for that. You are also chaste, determined, and persistent.
Does not using drugs count as chaste?
Ooh, no.
Okay.
But I mean, you were definitely. I love that you're determined and persistent, and you were like, "Yes, let's do this thing."
Yeah.
Give up. Yeah, totally. You get 1 point for that.
Cool. I think I filled all of them up.
Are you leveling up?
I mean, I filled up all the circles on that.
Okay, we're not even done yet. Your tenant. Do you have a wording for your tenant?
I think I'm sticking with transform both friend and foe
Okay.
in like a conversion kind of sense.
Got it.
So I did approach that group of people hoping to convert them, but unsuccessful.
Did not succeed. But that was an interesting attack. Hey, you're running away. Good news. Before you go. Okay, Saphira, alignment goal.
Disrupt the prevailing order. I mean, unless it's the prevailing order of the mind. I don't know if I...
Huh. Well, it didn't feel disruptive. It felt, in fact, it felt like harmony was achieved between the three of you.
But if the prevailing order is a lack of harmony, then that would be...
Okay, I'll give it to you.
No, you don't have to. It's fine.
I don't like being in the position of having to give people things anyway. And then your traits are compassionate, cruel, and decadent.
Yeah, I don't know. They haven't really been speaking to me so far.
Okay. We'll go over the.
Although I did burn my abilities to give my friends. Yeah, I don't know if that counts.
Maybe not compassionate. You definitely weren't cruel. I mean, chewing psychedelic lichen might be a little decadent, right?
Yeah, I was thinking.
And enjoyable, but also useful. I'm going to give you a point for that. I mean, that was just a great scene, and I thought, yeah, that added a lot to the proceedings. And your tenant.
Transform both friend and foe. I mean, I do think permanently altering my friends.
So yes, absolutely. Please take a point.
Okay.
And now as a group, did you make an exciting discovery? That's
Yeah, that waterfall
Yeah,
was pretty
sure.
exciting.
Okay, everybody gets a point.
Do I just start filling in the next line?
Yes. Did you overcome a difficult obstacle?
Oh, is it not notable enemy? Am I looking at an old one?
I think you're looking at an old one, yeah.
We climbed a lot.
You
And
did
we got
climb
the
a lot.
staff back.
We got the staff back.
Yeah, I mean, I think those critters plus the climbing, those count as, yeah. So everybody gets a point for that.
Yay.
What?
And did you acquire some memorable booty? I don't think so. There was no booty to speak of.
No.
Okay. Now, so
I
that's
got the
Elisa.
pants.
Has anybody leveled up? Elisa, anybody
I
else?
just leveled up,
Okay.
just barely.
You guys are level 2, so on the front of your sheet, you erase the 1 and put a 2.
Wow. Oh boy.
And
Where,
then
where is that on the sheet?
at the
at
middle
the
of
top.
the portrait spot. The
Oh,
little,
that's like cut off because my stupid printer.
oh, yeah. Those of you who leveled up regain a point of burned luck. So if you spent any luck, you get a point back. Now.
Including when I did it for hit points.
Yes. Whatever your current luck is, your current luck goes up by 1 point as long as it doesn't go over your maximum luck. And then your second level, and every even number level, you get to mark 2 different abilities of your choice, excluding luck. Your luck will never increase except by divine or arcane means. So those little bubbles on your ability score line, you get to choose 2 different ones. It can't be the same one. Okay.
Okay.
So we just fill one in, one
You
or
fill
two.
two different bubbles. Yeah, on 2
Okay.
different abilities.
Just kind of nudge them
Got
forward.
it.
Yep, nudge them forward. And then you're each going to roll your hit die, which is on the front of your sheet. I think for the clerics, that's a D8.
Yes.
The fighter, that's a D10. And you're going to, this is to add to your hit points. You're going to roll that die 1 time and add your Constitution modifier.
D8.
For cleric, it's a D8. Yeah.
Oh, I'm currently at a -1 Constitution.
Me
So.
too.
Wow, my hit points just
Ooh,
increased by 5 times.
me too.
Nice.
Sorry, what do we do with the
So
roll?
you're going to roll a D10, and your
Uh-huh.
your Constitution modifier is +2, I think. Claudio is a hardy soul, so you're going to roll a D10, add 2, and then add that total to your hit points.
Oh. Whoa.
What'd you get?
So if I rolled a 4, then I add 2 my plus con.
That's
and
right.
Then now my hit points are 12.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you wanted to, if you wanted to burn a point of luck to increase your hit points by another point, you could do that now, because any die roll can always be increased by luck. So you have that option. Okay. Now.
I'm gonna do that, Jason.
Okay. Sweet.
So I'm up to 8 hit points now.
Wow. Now you only get new hit points every even numbered level, so you're not going to get more hit points until you're level 4. At the next level, you get to choose a new move. That's what happens at level 3. And now I will just those of you who are thinking about maybe your traits aren't working out for you, and you might want to change your alignment. I'm going to describe this process. You can also look it up in the playtesting docs. You don't have to sort through it now because you're going to have to look at the lists of traits before you make your decision. But this is the way it works. You have the option to lose 1 trait and gain 1 trait. You can lose any trait that you want, as long as you didn't sort of behave that way during the session, right? It's pretty flexible. And then you can gain a trait that describes a way you did behave during the session, okay? So that's obviously going to require you to look at the lists of traits that are in the rules. There's vices and virtues, so you can look that over. And this process I'm describing is also there for you to read. And then basically by the end of that process, if you've so for instance, in Amu's case, Amu has 3 vices, right? So if Amu lost a vice and gained a virtue, then Amu would shift from evil to chaotic, because chaotic is 2 vices and a virtue. So the number of vices and virtues determines what alignment you are. So if you're evil, you can shift. You won't be able to jump right to neutral. You have to go through chaotic and then shift over to neutral. So you could gradually actually change your whole personality. It's just based on what you did during the session and whether you're, some of these traits obviously are not fun to role play, and it's up to you whether you want to do that or not. So I'll let you make those calls on your own in between the session, and if you have any questions, just let me know. But it's a little too involved to go into right now, but it should be pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I
Cool.
think I'm a candidate.
Yeah, you're surrounded by all these people who aren't evil. I think it might.
Well, and inflexible and stubborn are kind of similar.
Yeah, I love that because Evaristo is determined and persistent too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you also got squinting but like wide-eyed.
Yeah.
So I could take like persistent and change that to something else.
Yes. So persistent is you're good.
Virtue.
So
I would just switch it for a different virtue.
Sure. And what you do is just look through the list of virtues. There's
Okay.
there is 50 of them, I think. Is that right? I think there's 50 of them.
And this is a PDF you sent us like
I linked to the playtest.
long ago.
I can give you the link right now, actually. Let me just put it in the
I'm sure it's in an earlier email, right?
yeah, I mean, it might be. Okay. Copy. Okay. And I'm just going to put it into chat.
Cool.
There you go. That's all the playtest docs, and if you look in the basic rules, it'll that'll all be explained it's under the wrap up is the end of session move that we just went through. So all that the alignment change stuff is under that
Okay.
that move. You can find it there. Cool. So we might have some personality shifts. That's great. Any questions or anything come up that anybody wanted to mention?
Can you explain how the bonds work again?
Yeah. So if you have a bond on your sheet with somebody's name attached to it, do you have one right now?
I don't.
Okay. So let's look at Evaristo does, right?
I have a and I have Teo must make amends for me. So
In order to
because we did a thing last time and he messed up.
but
Right. So I'm asking because I feel like would something happen when as I'm wearing Evaristo's pants that would give me a bond with him?
oh, that's a great that's interesting. I'm willing to take that under they usually come out of conversation, but interaction is obviously part of that. So
Yeah.
Maybe next session or something like that, there's something that happens. You can totally engineer it. You can be like, I want to talk to Evaristo about how awesome his pants are or whatever.
Yeah.
Evaristo, what kind of amends would Teo have to do to get back in good graces with you?
I want him to think I'm cool.
You want to be liked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, pants are a great avenue.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you guys can role play that out next time, and then once you've done that, you can again keep company with the hope of gaining bonds. But to answer your question, JP, do you understand how they work? How to use them?
Is it just like for helping?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. That's the only mechanical benefit it has is that you can help somebody.
And that's just generally like a +1 to a roll. Okay.
You can always help anybody and give them +1, but a bond lets you add 2. So the maximum modifier you can get at any time is 4. You can never go higher than that. But if you had 3 bonds with somebody and you help them, you could burn all your bonds to give them a plus. They get a +4 total.
Ah, okay.
When you burn a bond, you just erase the little mark, but you can you mark it, and then when you have another positive conversation with them, you can erase those marks. So it's like this renewable resource that you have.
Okay, cool, very cool.
Yeah, the only kind of confusing part is if you have a bond with somebody and it's written on your sheet, that means you can help that person. So sometimes that's a little confusing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the way to think of it.
Okay.
All right. Everything else good?
Awesome.
Did I doodle poll for 2 weeks, or do I need to?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I think we're on it for 2 weeks from now.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Ooh.
Thanks. There's like no monsters yet. That was like a very peaceful journey through the wilderness.
Yeah.
And I'm loving these. I just love what you guys are doing with these characters. It's really great.
It's a hoot.
Okay.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you,
Me
Jason.
too.
Thanks,
Thanks
Jason.
all.
Thanks,
Take care.
everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Thanks.
Good
Jason.
night.
Bye.
Bye bye.